Mike, with that West up for grabs. The San Diego Chargers going into today with a record of 3-0. With less than a minute left at Foxborough, they are trailing the Patriots by the score of 27-21. Chargers looking to make it back off a 1-yard run by Clarence Williams.
And it makes it very important for this game, mainly because Denver and Seattle are chasing San Diego, leading the AFC West. The loser here might have trouble getting back in the race.
Here's a look at that touchdown as Fouts will hand off to Clarence Williams, and this plus the extra point will cut it down to the 27-21 situation they are right now in the final minute of play at Foxborough. Well, Mike, is a one-time receiver in the National Football League. I know that you admire the receiving combination of Seattle last week, combination of Jim Zorn and Steve Largent, and whipping Oakland 27-10.
And the Seahawks didn't get off to a good start passing, but Jim Zorn had a big day against Oakland last week. Over 200 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Steve Largent, the leading wide receiver in the National Football League as far as receptions last year, 71, had 5 catches last week for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they were the key against Oakland.
At the same time, the Broncos were defeating the Atlanta Falcons in overtime off a solid performance by Bronco quarterback Norris Weiss.
And there has been a controversy here in Denver. The #1 quarterback job has been taken over by Weiss from Craig Morton, who took him to the Super Bowl, and the jury's still out on Weiss. We'll watch him very closely today.
And Denver able to win it in overtime on the field goal by Jim Turner, who is now the #2 leading scorer in the history of the National Football League.
And also, the last time Seattle and Denver met last season, Jim Turner kicked a field goal in overtime to win it. He could be the guy that does it again today.
We have Denver and Seattle upcoming here on NBC, and we'll be back right after these words.
King 5, first in the Northwest.
NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Brought to you by Schlitz. Make the most of now. From the life you live to the beer you drink. Go for it. By Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By Magnavox. Trade in your old TV for Magnavox TouchTune color television. And by your Sears Tire and Auto Center. Home of straight talk, good values, and satisfaction.
Back to Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. This is Marv Albert along with Mike Hafner, and we're set for the tough defense of the Denver Broncos against the high-powered Seahawks of Seattle. The referee is Gene Barth, the umpire Tom Myers, head linesman Jerry Bergman, the line judge Bob McLaughlin, the back judge Ben Tompkins, the side judge Dean Look, the field judge Fritz Grant. Denver won the toss. They will receive. Bernard Jackson is back deep, along with rookie Zachary Dixon, who has just re-signed during the course of the week. And you can hear the crowd right at the start as Efren Herrera gets set to kick it off.
And they're going crazy in Denver, Marv. It's Orange Sunday, as the mayor has designated, and these fans in Denver, as most of the country knows, just go crazy for their club.
Sellout crowd, better than 75,000 on hand, and we're underway. The return by Zachary Dixon, and the recovery by the Seahawks.
Zach Dixon was just picked up and signed by the Broncos, and there's a rookie who has made a mistake and given the Seahawks perfect field position. Dixon again filling in for the injured Preston, who went down with a knee injury, is now on injured reserve, and Zach Dixon out of Temple gets his baptism in the NFL, and it costs the Denver Broncos right off the bat.
Kerry Justin, backup quarterback out of Oregon State, on the recovery, and the Seahawks go to work. This is Sherman Smith picking up 3 yards on the play. Jack Pater starting with Sherman Smith and Dan Dorning at the running backs. Their quarterback is Jim Zorn, coming off the superb day against Oakland. 277 yards, 3 TDs.
Steve Largent, Sam McCullen, Brian Peets. Steve Largent, 6 receptions last week, 2 touchdowns. He is one of the best in the NFL.
It is a 2nd and 7 for Seattle. The Broncos coughing it up off the opening kickoff. To throw on 2nd down, and he completes it. Duke Ferguson, wide receiver, a 3-year pro out of San Diego State, bumped out of bounds by Lewis Wright. Seattle with Nick Bebout, Steve August at the tackles, Tom Lynch, Ron Coder at the guards, the center, John Yarno.
Bebout back in the lineup after being injured. He's going to help that Seahawks offensive line.
It is a 1st down for the Seahawks at the Denver 17. Largent to the left and Ferguson to the right. Going to replace the injured David Sims last week in motion. And Sherman Smith off the play act. Down to the 15. Marty Chavis, the defensive left end, number 79, on the tackle. As you look at that front 3 of Denver.
And Bryson Manor has taken over for the departed Lyle Alzado and has been a big force for the Broncos. There are the linebackers, Swenson, Rizzo, Gradishar, Jackson. Gradishar won every MVP award for defense last year. That's the best crew in the NFL right there.
Jackson making it back after missing the game against Atlanta with a sprained calf. 2nd and 8 from the 15 for the Seahawks of Seattle. That's Dorning fighting his way down to the 11-yard line. Dan Dorning, a 2nd-year pro out of Washington State, picked up in a mystifying trade with the New York Giants. Mystifying to Giant fans back in New York as you look at that Denver secondary.
Steve Foley, Billy Thompson, been in the league 11 years. Bernard Jackson and Louis Wright, who most receivers say is the best that ever played corner.
It is a 3rd and 4 for the Seahawks. At the Denver 11, Ferguson, wide left. The tight end is Brian Peets. The setbacks are Smith and Dorning. An official timeout as John Yarno wanted a new football.
So it's warm here today. Surprisingly warm for Denver, Colorado, and I think a little sweat dropped on the ball.
So here's the 3rd and 4. Zorn to throw, goes for the end zone, but it is incomplete. The intended receiver was Ferguson.
Ferguson slipped down that time, and Zorn had no chance. All he could do was throw it away. He'll have to settle for a 3-point try.
Efren Herrera with number 10, Zorn to hold. Herrera, the 5-year man out of UCLA. 4 out of 6 thus far this season. Has hit from 34, 32, 46, and 20. This from 28 yards out.
Big left for the Bronco defense. They held him to a field goal after that terrible turnover.
And Herrera puts it through. 28-yard field goal. The Seattle Seahawks with a happy coach, Jack Pater, although he rarely will smile to show his happiness, able to jump in front of the Broncos at the this juncture. The score is 3-0. There's the secret to our success. The pins and the spotting board. I'm Marv Albert. This is Mike Hafner as we are all set for the kickoff of Efren Herrera with Chris Payne and Zachary Dixon back deep. And here is Herrera. And once again taken by Dixon to the 10. And down across the 20-yard line. So Zachary Dixon with a second opportunity. He coughed it up on the opening kickoff, tripped up by Peter Cronin. And for the first time, Denver will go to work first down at the 21-yard line. Rob Lytle replacing the injured Dave Preston and Jim Jensen in that backfield with Norris Weiss at quarterback.
Rick Upchurch, Haven Moses, and Riley Odom. There's 3 great ones, and Upchurch is the game breaker.
3-0. Seahawks lead. 28-yard field goal by Efren Herrera early in this first quarter doing it. That's Moses peeling off. And Lytle straight ahead move.
Rob Lytle is coming off a badly sprained right knee, and he's replacing a guy who had a badly sprained right knee.
New England Patriots able to hold on. So San Diego is beaten for the first time this season. They are now 3-1. And as we mentioned right at the start, that AFC West should go right down to the wire.
It's an important game for the Broncos and the Seahawks. The Seahawks can be 2-2 and just a game out. The Broncos, if they win, could tie San Diego.
2nd and 4 for Denver at their 27-yard line. They are trailing 3-0. This is Jensen trying to pick his way through, out near the first down marker, but short by a yard. Terry Beeson, middle linebacker, making the stop as you take a look at the Denver offensive line.
And Dave Studdard, they finally found a left tackle in Denver. He was a free agent who had been with Baltimore last year. That's the problem area, though, for the Broncos, that offensive line.
It is a 3rd and 1 for the Broncos. John Keyworth checks in along with the extra tight end, Ron Egloff. Of course, Red Miller likes to do a lot of shuffling, particularly in the backfield. There was a mix-up right there.
You got to get those things down. It's no time to be messing around at 3rd and 1.
Here is the 3rd and 1 for the Broncos. Lytle stacked up. We'll have to wait and see where his forward progress was marked. And he will be short as Beeson, the middle linebacker, was able to fill the hole as you look at the Seattle defensive line of Ernie Price, Robert Harty, Mano Tuiasosopo, and Bill Gregory.
You did good on Tuiasosopo.
It's 2 weeks in a row, Mike.
He was their first-round draft choice and an outstanding football player.
This is Luke Prestridge, rookie out of Baylor, getting sent to Budawood. Back deep is Jeff Moore. And that's Moore across the 30 to the 40. And out of bounds. Good run back by Jeff Moore. So there's a timeout on the field with the score. The Seattle Seahawks 3 and the Denver Broncos nothing.
NBC Sports brings you all the drama and excitement of Major League Baseball's League Championship Series with primetime coverage of the National League Series beginning Tuesday, October 2nd. NBC Sports. We're proud.
Next Saturday here on NBC, the final weekend of NBC's regular season coverage of Major League Baseball leading to the League Championship Series, which will be covered by NBC Sports. And things really going down to the wire. 3 divisions. We'll keep you posted on baseball scores as they come across. Baltimore did clinch it yesterday. All right, Zorn with the pitch. This is Dorning outside, out to midfield. Dan Dorning, who had a superb game last week in his first start, replacing the injured David Sims, was run out by the combination of Gradishar and the strong safety, Bill Thompson.
It's tough to run outside against the Broncos. There's the some final scores, and I had Buffalo when they scored 51, so the Jets know what the Buffalo offense can do.
Sensational rookie Jerry Butler caught 4 touchdown passes thrown by Joe Ferguson to lead Buffalo. 2nd and 5 from the 48. Smith and Dorning, the running back. That's Largent moving. And here's Dorning again. Picked up 4 on the play. Reuben Carter, Barney Chavis making the stop. Number 79 is Chavis, 7-year man out of South Carolina State. Well, the Steelers did not have an easy time in getting by the Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore had a 13-10 lead going into that 4th period, and the Steelers pulled it out again. That's 3 weeks in a row.
Crowd urging on the Denver defensive unit, 3rd and 1. And he's picked up. Well, let's see, a penalty marker is down. It's close to the first down.
And I think Seattle moved before the snap, and I was right. Watch for some movement in that offensive line by Seattle.
It is a procedure penalty against the Seahawks. Largent talking it over with the officials. Here's the call.
Illegal head bob, quarterback.
We had it perfect. Zorn bobbed his head before the snap. He's been warned about that in the first 3 games of the season and said if he keeps on doing it, they will call it, and they did, in fact, on that play.
It is a 3rd and 6 now, back at the 47-yard line. McCullough slot left. Smith and Dornick are back, and here's Zorn to throw. Incomplete. The intended receiver fell down as Lewis White was covering on the play. Dornick, the intended receiver, out on the left flank.
Dornick slipped and fell. Zorn was looking just for the first down, had that receiver in mind all the time. When he went down, Zorn had no chance.
Kansas City leading the Oakland Raiders 21-0 in the 3rd quarter. We saw Oakland lose to Seattle convincingly last week, although that last touchdown that the Seahawks went for has created some controversy. Herman Weaver punting away and keeping it away from Rick Upchurch, and the roll is down across the 5-yard line.
Outstanding punt by Herman Weaver, who was here in the Denver Bronco camp last year, beaten out by Bucky Dilts, who was subsequently beaten out by Luke Prestridge.
A 50-yard punt by Weaver. A timeout is called. When we resume, it'll be Denver's football.
They killed his wife. They killed his child. And now he rides for revenge. Clint Eastwood is the outlaw Josie Wales. First time on TV, Sunday.
Seattle head coach Jack Patera, the AFC Coach of the Year last season after the Seahawks rolled up a record of 9-7, only their 3rd year of existence. It is a 1st and 10 for Denver.
Dead field position, and the Seahawks have put the pressure on the Bronco offense.
Back at the 4-yard line, Jensen and Lytle, the running back. Moses coming across. And here's Lytle with short yardage. That ball may have been jarred, but Lytle able to hold on. Robert Hartburn-Harty, number 75, making the stop on the play. Well, Detroit bounced back from the loss last week at the hands of the Jets to defeat Atlanta. And Atlanta looking so good last week in that comeback effort, led by Steve Bartkowski.
Atlanta up at 5 points, having separated all their wins and losses.
Keyworth has come on. Lytle and Keyworth are the running backs. 2nd and 9 at the 5. Denver down 3-0. And this is Lytle following blockers and is able to get it out of danger. It was Paul Howard, number 60, leading Rob Lytle.
And if Seattle is to stop the Denver Bronco running game, and they have a fine fullback in Jim Jensen and a fine running back in Lytle out of Michigan, they're going to have to do it with their middle linebacker, Terry Beeson, and Beeson plays it well and at least gets into the flow. But Paul Howard, number 60, made a fine lead block. And that'll get you yardage every time.
Upchurch has come back. As you see, it is now a 3rd and 3. Upchurch flanked to the left side. Here's Lytle again on the sweep. Not able to get outside. Again led by Howard, but this time not able to lead the way. Cornell Webster, the left cornerback, in on the tackle, and the Denver offensive unit hearing it from the crowd. Again, the Seahawks able to contain him.
And when you start on the 5-yard line, it tends to limit what you can do offensively. You don't want to turn it over by throwing an interception, and you want to run conservative running plays so you don't have a fumble occur.
That is Jeff Moore back deep, awaiting the punt from Luke Prestridge. Prestridge has been getting the good hang time, still working on his directional punting. That time, good hang time, and Moore takes it to the 45. Out to midfield. So Jeff Moore on the return, and a timeout has been called. 7:38 left in this 1st quarter. Seattle leading by the score of 3-0 on the 28-yard field goal by Efren Herrera. We have seen excellent punting here in the 1st quarter. 52-yard boot by Prestridge.
And they made the right decision between Bucky Dilts, who now punts for Baltimore. The Broncos traded him away. Prestridge has given them that big foot that they need.
Zorn has a 1st down at the 50. Dornick and Smith are the running backs. And Zorn throws and overthrows Sherman Smith on the first down play. He was covered by the free safety, Bernard Jackson.
The blitz was on that time, and Tom Jackson, number 57 for the Broncos, put the pressure on Zorn, made him throw much sooner than he wanted to, and that was the reason for the incompletion.
Zorn thus far 1 for 4 for 10 yards. He's at 53% for the season. Got off to the slow start, intercepted 6 times over the first 2 games. Now has 4 touchdowns coming off the solid outing against Oakland. Here's Dornick. Dornick to the 47, tripped up by the outside linebacker on the left. Bob Swenson along with strong safety, Bill Thompson.
This was a draw play off the play action pass, and you'll watch Zorn, who handles the ball as well as any quarterback on the run fakes. There's the fake inside to Sherman Smith. Now Dornick waiting for the ball. A good fake, but it didn't fool the Broncos' Bob Swenson. He played it well.
3rd and 6. Broncos of Charlie Weston as the extra defensive back. Looking for Largent deep. And he's broken up. It appeared that Largent was bye-bye, but Lewis White was able to knock it away at the last instant.
And I told you, Louis Wright may be one of the best cornerbacks that ever played the National Football League. He was beaten cleanly by Largent, but Wright, with his great final acceleration, was able to dive in front. Jim Zorn going to his deep receiver against the 5 backs all the way. And now watch, Louis Wright is beaten, but dives in front, knocks it away. And that is an outstanding cornerback play.
And Thunderfoot Weaver pops one again, able to keep it away from Upchurch, but this one carries to the end zone. And they will bring it out. For Weaver, a 47-yard punt. And the Broncos, with Norris Weiss checking back in, will take over at their 20-yard line. Next Saturday, Major League Baseball game of the week. This is the final weekend of regular season coverage, so we'll have a big one for you on Saturday. And keep in mind the League Championship Series to be seen here on NBC beginning next week.
It's baseball excitement time.
And we'll throw some scores at you. Expos have defeated the Phillies 7-4, while the Pirates lead the Cubs 6-0, top of the 3rd. Wild race in the National League East. Off the play action, Weiss is hauled down. Number 58, the middle linebacker, Terry Beeson, a 3-year pro out of Kansas, getting to Weiss.
And Terry Beeson and the rest of the Seahawk defense aren't known for their blitzing, but they have obviously seen the films against Denver. And Norris Weiss has had problems handling the blitz. And watch Beeson, 58, along with his partners. And Beeson is there for the sack. Norris Weiss never had a chance to look downfield for his receivers. And Seattle's playing it right against a weak Denver offensive line.
It is a 2nd and 18 back at the 12. Carl Eller, number 77, is now in at right defensive end. Keyworth is back in the Denver backfield. Weiss looking and pops one off as Keyworth with just a short pickup. Seattle covering very well.
Norris Weiss tried to set up a screen pass to his fullback that time, and he did not fool the Seattle Seahawks defense, especially cornerback Dave Brown, who didn't go with the wide receiver deep, just stayed there to stop the screen.
Five and a half remaining in this first quarter. Correction, I said Carl Eller, number 77. He's number 71 with Gregory, number 77. Tuiasosopo, Hardy, and Price in that front 4 for Seattle. That is Upchurch in motion. It's a 3rd and 16 from the 14. Weiss with time, and he completes to Upchurch, who is immediately hauled down. Good low tackle to bring down Rick Upchurch. And again, the Broncos will have to punt away. Autry Beeman, the strong safety.
Broncos had 3 wide receivers in that time, Marv, and it didn't fool Seattle again. And the Broncos are having problems with offense and field position.
Jeff Moore back, awaiting this Luke Pressford punt. Seahawks lead at 3-0. Bad snap. Got to be gobbled up, and good play by Pressford, who unleashes a beauty. Here's Moore at the 25. Out to the 35, 40's got the sideline, and he's bumped out of bounds. A bad snap by Prestridge. Still, he was able to get it away. Gorgeous run back by Moore as we get another look at this 55-yard punt.
A lot of times when you get a bad snap, the adrenaline starts pumping on the punter. He gets off a 55-yarder, but he outkicked his coverage, Marv, and he almost gave him a chance to run it all the way back. Moore now gets outside the coverage. You'll see that Louis Wright ran past him, and now he gets outside, and he's almost got a shot to go all the way if it wouldn't have been for Prestridge, who pushed him out of bounds.
We have 4.5 left, first quarter. Seahawks lead 3-0. There's Craig Morton, who these days is number 2 behind Norris Wees after leading the Broncos to 2 AFC West titles, including a Super Bowl berth. Seattle in possession, first down at the 48-yard line. This is Zorn off the play action, and he completes to Sherman Smith to the 40, and out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A first down and more. Louis Wright running him out.
Very effective to throw on first down in the National Football League. Jim Zorn with the play action fake, and he's going to Sherman Smith on a bit of a screen up the middle. And I want you to watch an outstanding move by Sherman Smith after he bobbled the ball. He leaves Tommy Jackson looking for his shoes and got outside and up for a first down. A fine play and a fine call by Jim Zorn.
Smith, awesome coming out of that backfield. Leads the Seahawks in both rushing and pass receiving. First down play again. This time Smith on the ground to the 34-yard line.
You'll notice the trend by the Seattle offense. They run inside. They know better than to run outside against the quick Bronco linebackers. So the rushing game for Seattle today will be inside the tackles, and they do it as well as any club in the entire NFL.
Bryson Banner made that last stop, 2nd and 8 at the 34-yard line. Charlie West has come on as the extra defensive back as Rizzo departs. Setbacks are Dornick to the left, Smith to the right. Long count by Zorn.
Changing the play, I think, Mark.
Scott Smith, 30-yard line, and hit down hard at the 30. About 4 short of a first down. The right outside linebacker, number 57, Tom Jackson, 7-year man out of the University of Louisville, making the stop.
That'll make a great matchup for the entire day. 47 Sherman Smith of Seattle against 57 Tom Jackson of the Broncos. 2 outstanding athletes going at it head-to-head today.
All right, Mike, a 3rd and 4. They spotted at the Denver 30. The Seahawks lead 3-0. And rookie Zachary Wilson caught that in the opening kickoff with a benefit of extra effort to run a field goal from 28 yards out. Here's Dornick straight up the middle, got the first down, and they fool the Broncos. Swenson, the left outside linebacker, number 51, able to bring down Dornick.
And I told you Seattle runs inside as well as any club in the league. Watch Tom Jackson. That's the key block. They must block Jackson in order for Dornick to make the play. And there's the block that springs him for a big gain inside. Nick Bebout with the down block from tackle, and it was a perfect play.
8-yard advance for Dornick. He's averaging 3.5 per carry. He's got a first down now at the Denver 22-yard line. That's Dornick peeling off. Smith on the move. And a good move by Sherman Smith inside the 15-yard line. Crowd getting a bit restless here about the Denver defensive play. Rizzo and Jackson were able to bring down Sherman Smith, but the Seahawks game plan very effective to this point.
Run inside those tackles, and Sherman Smith and Dornick have been a force.
A 2nd and 3 for Seattle. Ferguson left, Largent right. Again, it's Smith. He is gang tackled short of a first down. David Sims yet to see action. He was scratched last week because of a neck bruise. Dornick started in place of Sims, who only led the National Football League in touchdowns scored last year, although he missed 4 games. And it's going to be tough to get Dornick out of that lineup.
The entire running back corps for the Seahawks is one of the best young crews in the National Football League, and they're showing their effectiveness.
1:15 left first quarter. 3rd and 2 for Seattle. This capacity crowd urging the Bronco defense to get it on. And they do the job. Led by Bernie Davis stopping Smith on his attempt to get that first down.
Also, Kit Lathrop, number 75 for the Broncos, who had come in that short yardage situation, got the big hit upstairs. And if you're trying to gain 1 yard, you don't want the guy to fall forward. You need that tackler up around the shoulder pads to stop him. Lathrop was there to do it.
Steve Rabel has come on now for the Seahawks. As you look at Red Miller, the coach of the Denver Broncos.
He can't go out and make the tackle for him.
It is a 4th and 1. A fumble on the snap. Penalty flags thrown down.
I think Denver jumped too soon that time, Marv. We're going to have to wait and see if they were drawn offside, but I think the Bronco defense jumped, and I was right.
Indication by the referee Gene Barth as we get another look at that play.
Kit Lathrop, 75, got his nose over that ball before the snap. That caused the fumble and therefore the 5-yard penalty. Jim Zorn was lucky that time.
A break for the Seahawks. They pick up the first down.
Interior lineman defense, offside, first down.
It is a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
Our camera crew was better than the referees. They didn't even know who jumped, and our camera guys got it right on the button.
Yes, you know, when they don't reveal the number, they don't know. Here's McCullum to the left, Larkin right. Dornick, the setback behind Zorn. Now this is Dornick. Not able to make the move outside. Hit by Steve Foley, the right cornerback. That ball was jarred loose over the sideline. And a penalty marker thrown down as Dornick took a pretty hard shot.
And I told you can't run outside against the Broncos. They're just too tough, but they can sure move when you get that yellow penalty flag on the ground.
And a personal foul being handed out. It appeared to be Tom Jackson who came over after the initial hit was made.
Watch Dornick's back foot. It slides out of bounds after Steve Foley gives him a heck of a shot to stop him. Now you'll watch. He's out of bounds now, and he shouldn't be hit.
Late hit.
And Jackson, oh.
Defense, first down.
You can't throw that arm in there like that. You'll get caught every time. Jackson's a very emotional player, but you can't afford 15-yard penalties in that situation.
Makes for a 1st and goal. They move it up to the 5-yard line. Ferguson left, Larkin right. 35 seconds left in this first quarter, and the Seahawks are threatening. They lead it 3-0. Here's Dornick. Touchdown. Dan Dornick off the right side, and the Seahawks have taken a 9-0 lead.
And again, the place to run against the Denver Broncos is inside the tackles. Watch Dan Dornick. He just waits for the blocking to fold in, and he walks into the end zone out of the arms of Tom Jackson, 57, and then slams it and says, "In your face, Bronco."
Efren Herrera with Jim Zorn holding. Herrera 5 out of 6 in placements thus far this season. Someone moves, penalty marker down, will not matter as Herrera puts it right through. Broncos again over anxious, look to be Lewis Wright coming from the outside.
Perfect call, Marv. It was Lewis Wright that jumped.
Defense, number 20 offside. Points good, will penalize on the kickoff.
So with 33 seconds remaining in this first quarter, the Broncos find themselves trailing the Seahawks of Seattle by the score of 10-0. Well, NBC Sports will continue its tradition of excellence in postseason baseball coverage. The League Championship Series getting underway on Tuesday, October the 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be in the stadium of the National League West winner. So that means either Cincinnati or Houston. The series continuing Wednesday, the 3rd of October, with the National League game number 2 at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, followed by the first game of the American League playoffs from Baltimore at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Herrera getting set to kick off with Zachary Dixon and Chris Payne are back, and that kickoff will come from the 40-yard line off the penalty called on Lewis Wright on that placement. Seahawks with a 10-0 lead. They come in with a record of 1-2. They were beaten by San Diego 33-16 in the home opener, losing in Miami 19-10. Last Sunday at the Kingdome in Seattle, they beat Oakland 27-10. And prior to last week, turnovers killed this ball club. Last week against the Raiders, they did not commit a turnover. And strangely, Denver, despite the awesome defensive record, has not come up with a turnover thus far this season. Line drive kick by Herrera, and it gets by Dixon, and they'll bring it out to the 20. He has really had a horror show here in the first quarter.
He doesn't pay to be a rookie in the National Football League, according to Zach Dixon. Again, bad field position for the Broncos. And I'll tell you, that football takes crazy bounces. Zach Dixon looks like a shortstop, and all of a sudden he gets the bad bounce back into the end zone. Even if it would have touched Dixon, the ball would have been called a muff and come out to the 20-yard line. No fumble.
First and 10 now at the 20. There you see that Seattle scoring drive capped off by the 5-yard run for the TD by Dan Dorning. Seattle leading it 10-0. Quarterback is Norris Weiss. Running backs are Lytle and Jensen. Odoms in motion. Weiss to throw. With time. And he throws deep. And he's got his man, Riley Odoms, out of the 35-yard line.
The reason this play went, Marv, was protection by the offensive line. If I'd have had a stopwatch, I'll give Norris Weiss 5 seconds to throw this football. The questionable Bronco line has done his thing. Weiss has all time to throw, and Riley Odoms can get deep on any strong safety, and that gets the Broncos out of a big hole, and they needed something to fire them up.
45-yard pass play. The first quarter has now come to a close at the end of one. The score, Seattle 10, Denver nothing. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Watching King 5.
Riley Odoms, 8-year man out of the University of Houston, just hooked up with Norris Weiss on that 45-yard pass play. Denver first and 10 at the 35. Weiss slipping, recovering, and just does get it off. It's incomplete. Jensen lunging, could not come up with it. That's one of those passes you will not see on the Bronco highlight film for 79.
Not really.
This is Marv Albert with Mike Hafner. Capacity crowd, better than 75,000 on hand here at Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. And the Seahawks surprising people, getting off to a 10-0 lead. We are early second quarter. And a timeout now has been called by the Broncos. So Weiss to the sidelines to talk it over. Look at the Oakland Raiders trailing Kansas City now 28-0.
The Raiders have gone into the dumper, as they say.
Stabler has been sacked 6 times. All right, next Saturday here on NBC, the premiere of Sports World's Bowling Mini-Series. Now 8 teams, each featuring some of the best men and women bowlers from past and present, will be competing in Sports World's Bowling Mini-Series, and that'll be from Irving, Texas, along with the current Michigan 125 coverage of the Indy-type racing event from the Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. Many of the top IndyCar drivers will be competing on this D-shaped course, including Rick Mears and Al Unser, Bobby Unser, Johnny Rutherford. That is all next Saturday right here, NBC's Sports World. It'll be a 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line for the Denver Broncos.
And I might point out that Riley Odoms had gone 41 games until the Atlanta game with a catch in each of those games. His streak was broken last week. I bet he's happy now.
Upchurch's left, Moses right, Lytle and Jensen are the running backs. This is Lytle, looking to follow his blockers, but could not. Gets to the 34-yard line. Pickup of 1 on the play. Here's a final score. Houston Oilers come from way back and in overtime defeat the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been giving people problems as of late. 30-27 on a 29-yard field goal by Tony Fritsch.
You and I will be in Houston next week with those great Cleveland Browns. Ought to be an interesting football game.
Cincinnati had a 24-0 lead in the second quarter. They lose it 30-27. Otis Armstrong has come on, number 24 in that Bronco backfield for the first time. It's a 3rd and 9. And Weiss throws deep. How do they mark it down? It'll be pass interference against the Seahawks. Cornell Webster. There was no one in sight because Webster had done a job on the tight end, Riley Odoms, who is shaken up, but apparently all right.
It was safety blitz that time, number 44, Harris. John Harris was on the blitz for Seattle. Norris Weiss read it. And I'll tell you, Riley Odoms would have been wide open in the for a touchdown if Cornell Webster hadn't knocked him down, and that's the penalty.
Odoms now replaced by Ron Egloff. There's Riley limping off.
Nobody can hurt a guy that big. He'll be back.
So Egloff has come on, and the Broncos now first down at the Seattle 17-yard line. Lytle and Jensen now back in the backfield. They go with a slot left formation. And here's Lytle. Pulling to the 14-yard line. Sammy Green, the left side linebacker, making the stop. Seahawks have Price, Hardy, Tuiasa Sopo. Up front along with Eller, Green, Beeson, and Butler, the linebackers. Brown and Webster, and the corners, Beeman and Harris are the deep men.
How they doing in Kansas City and Oakland? Holy cow. No contest there, folks.
2nd and 7 for the Broncos. Opening minute, second quarter. Denver trailing 10-0. Off the play action, Weiss throwing on the run, but Jensen is out of bounds at the 10. So a 4-yard pickup. It will be a 3rd and 3.
Very crucial play now for the Bronco offense. Seattle knows that they haven't got the outside speed in the running game, so I would imagine that pass is what Seattle will be looking for.
Broncos come in with a record of 2-1. They beat Cincinnati only 10-0 here in Denver. Lost to L.A. in that Thursday night game, 13-9. That off the fumble late in the game by Craig Morton. Beat Atlanta in overtime last week on the Turner field goal. And right here on Orange Sunday are trailing. The surprising Seahawks off the spinning move. Jensen goes short.
I don't fathom that call at all. The Broncos' offensive line is not blocked well for the run. The draw play would have been good with a good rushing club, but not for Denver. They should have put the ball up there.
And here is Jim Turner in his 16th year out of Utah State. He's 38 years old. He is now the 2nd all-time leading scorer in the NFL. He is 3 out of 5 this season. He's hit from 37, 24, 24. He's missed from 27 and from 32. And this will be a 27-yard attempt. And it is good. So Turner puts it through, and the Broncos are on the board, now trailing by the score of 10-3 with 12:43 left in the second quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
David Anthony just got a Ram Tough Dodge van and a $400 check from Chrysler Corporation.
I got a really good deal. When I bought the van, I didn't know about the rebate. So when I picked it up on Monday, I got another $400 off.
Now's the time to deal. Chrysler Corporation's giving dealers big cash incentives they can pass on to you. And only Chrysler Corporation tops your deal with a $400 check. Not Ford, not GM. Come to Dodge and check it out.
Radio Shack has slashed the price on one of our top-of-the-line stereo systems. Right now, save $310 on this impressive realistic hi-fi. You get this quality AM/FM stereo receiver, a pair of realistic tower speakers, and this precision belt drive turntable, all for only $579. A great entertainment bargain and a beautiful addition to your home. The sale-priced realistic stereo system, just $579, only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
NBC Sports brings you all the drama and excitement of Major League Baseball's League Championship Series with primetime coverage of the National League Series beginning Tuesday, October 2nd. NBC Sports, we're proud.
On the right, number 24, Al Hunter, three-year man of Notre Dame. Jeff Moore, the rookie out of Jackson State, at the top of your picture awaiting this Jim Turner kickoff. And this is Moore. And on the recovery out to the 10, 15, 20, breaks loose. Out to the 34-yard line. Another beautiful run by Jeff Moore. And let's talk about this Denver coverage.
One of the things that happens, Marv, is when the receiver drops the football, the special team coverage sees that, tends to slow up, doesn't get a good gauge on when he'll take off, and Moore finds a hole in the Broncos special teams kickoff unit and gets a big yardage and some good field position for the Seahawks.
Backup linebacker Jim Ryan was able to bring him down. It's a first down for the Seahawks at their 34-yard line. The quarterback is Zorn. The running backs are Dornick and Smith. Seahawks leading it 10-3. All right, Zorn throwing deep. He's got Largent, and Largent down across the 25-yard line. What a gorgeous pattern was run by Steve Largent.
Largent had the great day last week and a perfect time to throw the play-action pass, 1st and 10. It was designed to Largent all the way. Watch Zorn. He's going to make at least a halfway fake of the running play. Now he'll drop back, and he knows Largent is his only deep receiver. He's got him split between Bernard Jackson, and now look at the turnaround. Great concentration, tremendous hands, and great field position for the Seahawks.
Last week, Largent set a club record, 6 receptions, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Zorn this time swings it to Smith. He's in traffic and is tripped up.
There's that matchup again, Tom Jackson against Sherman Smith. Jackson made the tackle and stopped it for no gain.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. It's 2nd and about 11 at the Denver 26-yard line. 4 minutes in, 2nd quarter, as they line up in the I. Dornick in front of Smith. Largent to the right. McCollum left. Second back coming through, and then Dornick cuts outside and is being chased. Beautiful fake by Zorn as Wright and Thompson chase Dornick out of bounds.
Jim Zorn again on that delayed crossbuck. He'll make the inside fake to Sherman Smith to draw the linebackers. You want to hold the linebackers, and then Dornick waiting there for the handoff, breaks to daylight, which is outside, and outruns the Broncos' right side of the defense.
8-yard run by Dornick, 3rd and 3 for Seattle at the Denver 18. Seahawks lead at 10-3. Denver getting on the board, capping off a 71-yard drive in 7 plays. They had to settle for a Jim Turner field goal from 27 yards down. Hand off to Smith. Great second effort by Sherman Smith. No fancy work then by Zorn. And it was Smith who went up the middle, bringing it near that first down marker. Chavis and Rizzo combined to make the stop, and I see several of the Seahawks indicating we're inches away.
Just short that time, and credit the second effort of 47 Sherman Smith.
It is 4th and inches. Tight end Brian Peets checks back in. Rizzo departs. John Grant comes on for Denver.
Smart ball here, Marv. They've got a 7-point lead. They should go for it here.
And it's Dornick. And he's got it. Dan Dornick picking up the first down. He is a 6'3", 210-pounder out of Washington State. During the offseason, attending medical school. replaced the injured David Sims last week. As we mentioned earlier, acquired from the New York Giants in a strange deal because the Giants in dire need of running backs, and yet they let Dorning go for a couple of future draft picks.
Dorning could certainly help the Giants because he's doing a whole bunch for the Seahawks.
First down at the 14. Dorning now 9 carries, 35 yards. McCullum to the right, Largent left. And this is Smith. Straight ahead power move by Sherman Smith.
That Bronco defensive line is just getting blown out by the Seattle Seahawks. There was a tremendous surge there, and every one of the offensive linemen for Seattle was at least 5 yards down the field.
It'll be a 2nd and 2 down at the 6-yard line. And there have been question marks going into this season. In fact, going into the last couple of games about that Seattle offensive line. They have looked very tough here in the first half. Bebout, Lynch, Yano, Coder, and August doing the job. 2nd and 6. McCullum moving over to the right and followed across by Wright. And here is Dornick as they keep it on the ground. This time he is stacked up. Might have picked up a yard and then pushed back as the nose tackle, Reuben Carter, was all over Dan Dornick.
He can't go to the well too often. I think the Broncos have finally realized that Seattle is going to run inside the tackles, and they're going to have to stop it.
Number 57, Tom Jackson, looking very upset, and he's not alone, you can be sure.
This Bronco defense is not used to being shoved around the field like they have been in this first half.
It is a 3rd and 1. Down at the 5. Beautiful move off the left side as Dorning takes it in. What a fake by Zorn.
Give credit to that offensive line of the Seahawks. They're all excited and happy. Nick Bebout leading the cheers. And Dornick, all he had to do was lean, and he was right in the end zone. Take a look at the surge of the offensive line by Seattle. Give these guys a bunch of credit. A great lead block by Sherman Smith, and Dornick, with his shoulder down, is in the end zone, and they've humiliated the Orange Crush defense.
And this, the number 1 ranked defense against the rush of the National Football League going in. Here is Herrera putting it right through, and the Seattle Seahawks surprising people around the country when this score is flashed. They now lead the Denver Broncos 17-3 with 8:09 left. 2nd quarter.
Time to trade in for Touch-Tune. At your Magnavox dealer now, trade in your old set for Magnavox Touch-Tune color television and save big. Touch-Tune television with a sharper color picture than ever before possible. And just for touching Touch-Tune television, you'll be handed free this official National Football League manual. It's trade in for Touch-Tune time. Trade and save at your Magnavox dealer now.
Antifreeze. You never think about it, or how it has to protect somebody beside you, or what could happen without it. Stranded, and no help for miles. Don't trust your luck. Don't trust the weather. Take out old, weak antifreeze now, and put your trust in Prestone, too. More people trust Prestone than all other brands combined.
We made it.
More people trust Prestone, and when you flush your cooling system, trust Prestone Super Flush.
5 guys and the girl who drove them wild. Follow them through 3 decades of loving and lying. First it was Rich Man, Poor Man, and now the world premiere of The Last Convertible, Monday.
That is the Seattle Seahawks press box crew led by offensive coach Jerry Rome, the man on the right, talking with Jim Zorn.
And he's talking to Jim Zorn down on the field. Here's what I want you to run next time, and they've been right almost every time.
Dorning with a 5-yard run moments ago for his 2nd score in this first half. 66-yard drive, 8 plays, and the Seahawks leading it 17-3. And as a result, Red Miller puts Rick Upchurch back for the kickoff along with Chris Payne, a good boot. And Upchurch has to let it fly right by.
Can't run those back. Rick Upchurch is not effective when you kick it out of the end zone.
The Broncos normally do not like to use Upchurch in kickoff situations unless it gets down to the situation where they are in desperation, perhaps late in the game. Not this early. That was not the design, because they want Upchurch to remain healthy. And obviously, the more you're on the kickoff unit, greater chance of injury.
The defense has a goal each week for the Broncos to hold the opponents to 17 points or less. They're going to have to shut them out from here on out.
Otis Armstrong is in the backfield now with Jim Jensen. Norris Weiss, the quarterback. Broncos trailing 17-3. And Weiss to throw on first down. He's got time. And now in trouble. Able to get it off. And it's right away. And the penalty marker is down. 2 penalty markers go down. The intended receiver was Upchurch. And it was Dave Brown on the coverage.
Roughing the passer against Seattle also. And this will be interesting. We had pass interference on Dave Brown and also roughing the passer. Watch Norris Weiss. He's on the scramble. He can't find a receiver open. The pressure is not that much. He breaks to the outside. Now he's going to try to hit Riley Odoms and then is snowed under. And there's Dave Brown.
Against the defense. Defensive interference, number 22. Roughing the passer, 58. Interference was a penalty taken. First down.
The pass interference takes precedence. They will take first down at the point where Dave Brown interfered with tight end Riley Odoms.
Terry Beeson was the man called on the penalty for Seattle, so it's a first down at the 37-yard line. Just under 8 left in the first half. Marv Albert with Mike Hafner from Denver, Colorado. Lytle back in the backfield along with Jensen. Here's Weiss to throw. Overthrows Moses. Nearly intercepted, but Webster could not hold on. Cornell Webster, the left cornerback, who has had an excellent start for the Seahawks over the first 4 games. That time could not hold on.
You want to talk about Norris Weiss not having the National Football League arm that it takes. And right there, he just let the ball slip out of his hands. Haven Moses was wide open, and he threw it over his head and almost had it picked off.
Norris Weiss last week, 13 for 22, 215 yards, and ran for 2 scores. In overtime, hit on 4 of 4. Had a very solid game. Had a solid game against Seattle in his only start last season. Off the play action, Weiss throws sideline, and he completes to Odoms. First down and more. Riley Odoms bumped out by Cornell Webster. Penalty marker thrown down.
Again, Norris Weiss was hit after he threw the football. And I'll tell you, Carl Eller and Bill Gregory are not very happy about that call. Norris Weiss, a very active quarterback. That's his plus. Not one of your great throwers, but he can move around back there. He has Odoms wide open. Now watch the late hit. You can see him go down. That'll cost him 15 on top of the game.
Here's the call from the referee.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 75 defense, first down.
Gene Barth says Robert Hartburn Hardy is called for the personal foul. It is a first down for the Broncos at the Seattle 31.
And instead of Hardy giving the quarterback heartburn, he's giving his own coach heartburn with those bad penalties.
Jack Dalvin out to the right now, and Haven Moses to the left side. John Keyworth has come on. He's in the backfield with Rob Lytle. This is Keyworth, and he's going to throw. He's got Dalvin wide open, and it's broken up. The penalty marker's down. That'll be a pass interference. Well, Red Miller pulling one out of the playbook. It was a floater thrown by Keyworth. Dalvin was all by himself. The pass interference on Seattle.
And I'll tell you, John Keyworth, if he would have thrown any kind of pass, he would have walked into the end zone, Dolvin. And I'll tell you, this is not face guarding. He was run into. Jack Dolvin was run into before the ball got to his hand. First, Keyworth, he knows he doesn't want to blow it. So he lobs it up, and it just hangs there for hours. I know how Jack Dolvin feels. Please come down. Please come down. And Harris hits him before the ball gets there. A great call, pass interference.
The Broncos first and goal at the 2-yard line. This capacity crowd now urging the Broncos on. They are trailing 17-3. This is Otis Armstrong, and he is it. A sea of orange here at Mile High Stadium. The 7-year pro out of Purdue, who has been a forgotten man this season, is able to turn the right side for the score.
An An important thing for the Broncos rushing offense is some speed outside. And the fans in this town have been screaming for Otis Armstrong because he has that outside speed. And you'll see, runs right away from Cornell Webster and prances into the corner of the end zone with that extra speed.
Weiss to hold for Turner. And Turner puts it right through to move the Broncos within 7. 7.5 left, first half. And the Seattle Seahawks lead the Denver Broncos by the score of 17-10.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge fans go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. Galvanized steel for critical area rust protection. More than Ford or Chevy. And with optional 3-speed automatic, the best V8 mileage ratings. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge fans, engineered by Chrysler to go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines. The same way 31 out of 35 of this year's Indy 500 drivers do in their everyday driving with Valvoline motor oil. Because stop-and-go driving can punish your engine as much as 500 miles of speedway driving can punish an IndyCar's engine. And Valvoline can take the heat, protects your engine, helps make it last. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines with Valvoline. It's not just for winning races.
On The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, there's trouble brewing when Bertie spots some moonshiners. And look who's drinking the evidence, Dean Martin. Tuesday on NBC.
Seattle head coach Jack Patera on the left, and Denver's head man Red Miller on the right side. I think Jack is thinking about those Seattle penalties. 5 penalties have cost 89 yards. An 80-yard drive, 3 plays for the Broncos with Armstrong taking it in. 17-10 the score now. And on the kickoff, Al Hunter able to get by one would-be tackler, and Jim Ryan hauled him down. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
Marv Albert, Mike Hafner from Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. The Seahawks first down at their 20-yard line with 7:20 left in the second quarter.
Bronco defense has got to show they can't give up yardage like they've done for this entire first half.
New backfield, David Sims and Tony Benjamin in there for Seattle. Largent on the reception, able to push his way across the 30. Ball was jarred loose out of bounds. Out of the 33, Foley and Jackson covering on the play.
Obviously, Jim Zorn and his offensive coach have discovered that the Broncos are weak against the pass on first down. Seems like every first down they go. Look at that Kansas City Oakland score.
Kenny Stabler sacked 6 times, 35-7. The Kansas City Chiefs walloping the Raiders, who are now 1 up and 3 down. First down at the 32 for Seattle. Zorn off the short set. Incomplete intended for Largent. Tommy underthrew Largent at the far side. It'll be a 2nd and 10. Here's the announcement on the Kansas City Oakland score. Listen to the reaction. Yes, they do appreciate that here in Denver. Oakland, not one of the well-liked football clubs around America.
Our Seattle fans up in the greater Northwest don't like them either, especially after last week.
Zorn thus far 6 for 11, 79 yards. 2nd and 10. There's Benjamin with a hole. Benjamin to the 40-yard line. Making for a 3rd and 2. So Tony Benjamin and David Sims in the backfield for the first time this afternoon. Benjamin is a 3-year man out of Duke, a 6th-round draft pick back in '77. As you look at Randy Gradishar of the Denver Broncos, and we're going to take a look at that last play. Keep an eye on number 53.
It's the sprint draw that Seattle runs so well, and they try to get the linebackers to go with flow, and Gradishar, he didn't have anything to do with that play.
Sherman Smith has come back for this 3rd and 2. That's Sims in motion. Smith for the first down, and more, and much more. Sherman Smith to the Denver 45. The free safety, Bernard Jackson. Number 29, finally able to bring him down.
And again, I can't say enough about this Seattle offensive line. They have really come together, and they are blocking Randy Gradishar, the best middle linebacker in the National Football League, according to the voters last year. And I think Gradishar had roller skates on that time. He had no chance to make the tackle. He was blocked perfectly.
McCullum to the right, Largent left. First down for Seattle at the Denver 45. Seahawks lead it 17-10. And here is Zorn popping for Largent, incomplete. Took a good hit from Steve Foley, the right cornerback. Some of the Seahawks thought there should have been interference, but the officials say no.
Again, we see that indication that Seattle wants to throw on first down against the Bronco defense.
It'll be a 2nd and 10 as we get another look at the tail end of that play.
I don't know. It's a judgment call by the back judge, and he felt that Steve Foley was going for the ball, and it had gotten by Largent. I don't know, though. Steve thinks it's pass interference. I might go with him.
2nd and 10 again. Benjamin and Sims are the running backs. Beautiful fake, but it gets nowhere with Bryson Manor able to make the stop on David Sims. So Bryson Manor, who is up front with Reuben Carter and Barney Chavis, able to stop David Sims. It'll be a 3rd and 8 now at the 43.
Big down for the Bronco defense. Obviously, Seattle would go to a multiple pass pattern. They've got 3 wide receivers in.
Extra defender in for the Broncos. Charlie West has come on, joining Foley and Jackson and Thompson and Wright. 5 minutes left, 2nd quarter. Seattle up by 7. And Zorn will throw, and he throws the middle. He's got Largent for the first down. Oh, is he elusive? Steve Largent picks it up, brought down by number 43, Steve Foley.
Steve Largent has the best patterns and a pair of the best hands in all of professional football. He has good coverage from Steve Foley. It's a sharp pass, and look at the great hands. Tremendous concentration. That's the way you beat the 5 backs, with the underneath receiver. And a guy with that kind of hands is going to beat you every time.
Got off to a slow start over the first 2 games, coming back from an ankle injury and dropped a couple. But he is right back. There he is, number 80, Steve Largent. First down at the 24-yard line as Largent gets a breather. Tony Benjamin, the ball carrier. Patera here in the 2nd quarter, providing some rest time for his starters today, Dan Dornick and Sherman Smith. David Sims making it back after sitting out last week with a neck bruise, and Tony Benjamin getting some action. Now Sherman Smith returns, replacing Benjamin. Benjamin carried only 1 time last year. 7-yard pickup against Chicago. That was it, activated during the season after he failed the physical.
Bad knee.
2nd and 7, down at the 21. And a throwing situation for Zorn. He's got Smith. Smith down to the 15-yard line. Randy Gradishar, the leading tackler on the Broncos, coming into today with 28 tackles and 18 assists. Able to stop that guy, Sherman Smith.
Jim Zorn throws to his backs out of the backfield as well as any young quarterback.
It'll be a 3rd and 1. Down at the 15. And here's another final score, Mike. The Redskins have beaten the St. Louis Cardinals 17-7. Washington coming off the walloping of the Giants on Monday night. 17-7 the final. 3rd and 1 for Zorn. And Sims with the first down. Big hole on the right side.
Again, that Seattle offensive line is winning the battle every single time. And if you can run the ball in the National Football League and then open up Steve Largent, you've got a great offense.
On that right side, Ron Coder at right guard, Steve August at right tackle. The center is John Yarno. The left side, Tom Lynch at the guard, and Nick Beebout making it back after suffering the back spasm, sitting out last week. Beebout at tackle. First down for the Seahawks at the Denver 13-yard line. Here's Smith looking to follow his blocker, then he cut back inside for short yardage. Bill Thompson, the strong safety, making the stop on the play. Tonight here on NBC, a sensational Sunday starting 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with a classic Disney film, The Love Bug, on Disney's Wonderful World. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, it's Sunday's big event, Clint Eastwood, starring in the outlaw Josie Wales. We suggest you check your local listings for the correct times. That is all right here tonight on NBC, starting at 7. 2-minute warning has been provided. When we resume, it'll be a 2nd and 6 for the Seahawks down at the 9-yard line.
Welcome to our people-pleasing places. Good luck.
Following this 2-minute warning, it'll be Seattle ball, a 2nd and 6 down at the Denver 9, with the Seahawks leading the Broncos 17-10. Thus far, Zorn is 8 out of 14 for 104 yards. Largent has caught 3 for 73. And checking out the rushing statistics, Sherman Smith, 10 carries, 46 yards. He's right around his average. And Dan Dornick, who has scored the 2 Seattle touchdowns, 11 carries for 41 yards. So he's just under 4 per pop.
Get that offensive line for the Seahawks all the credit.
This is Smith straight ahead. Dive play tripped up by John Grant, number 63. 7-year pro out of the University of Southern California.
Still a 4-yard gain, and the surge by that offensive line, the Broncos can't stop it.
It's a 3rd and 2 now, down at the 5. Again, the names of those offensive linemen, they deserve it here in the first half. Bebont, Lynch, Yano, Coder, and August. They are having themselves a ball game. 3rd and 2 at the 5. David Sims with the fumble. Tom Jackson on the tackle, and apparently the whistle had blown, and Sims was able to hold on. So it is called no game.
That was a big play for the Bronco defense. They'd given up all kinds of rushing yardage, and to get out of this with only a field goal instead of a touchdown might really help them. Watch that offensive line. This time the Broncos play it right. Tom Jackson slips inside of Sherman Smith's block, and that was the key play.
Thus a 22-yard field goal attempt by Herrera, who hit from 28 earlier. He's 5 for 7 on the season. And it is right through. So Herrera is 2 for 2 on the day. With 38 seconds left in the first half, the Seahawks now lead the Broncos by the score of 20-10.
To fly before the wind, harnessed to a wildcat, suspended above the waves like the man on the flying trapeze, straining to get every ounce out of her, and moving so fast the mast begins to sing, leaving the rest of the world behind. So you go for it, making the most of now, from the life you live to the beer you drink. And since 1849, the beer that makes the most out of life is Schlitz. That's why every day, millions of times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
When you're making it beer, make it this one here. Schlitz makes it great.
Go for it.
Back deep for Denver, number 23 on the right. Chris Payne, a 4-year man out of Chico State. And Rick Upchurch. They're the men up front, just in case of the onside possibility by Efren Herrera.
Jack Patera does it at the strangest times. We'll watch for it this time.
38 seconds left in this first half, and the Seahawks off 2 field goals by Efren Herrera and 2 touchdown runs by Dan Dornick, leading the Broncos 20-10. Armstrong took it in from 2, and a field goal by Turner. And that has been the scoring here thus far. Now he puts away. And let's see if Upchurch will have an opportunity. Yes, he's going to run it out to the 10. Good coverage by the Seahawks, and he's jarred back the other way.
Excellent coverage by Seattle. And I thought the onside kick might have been a possibility because they didn't want to give Upchurch a chance to run it back. Rick Upchurch, one of the best return men in the National Football League. And when you're down by 10, you want that guy with his hands on the ball, but the perfect coverage by Seattle's
number 25, Don Dufek, the first man to get to Upchurch, and it's a 1st and 10 from the 15. Now 33 seconds left in this first half. Quarterback Norris Weiss. With Lytle and Jensen in the backfield. And Weiss throwing on the run, and he completes to Odoms across the 40-yard line. Well, Riley Odoms has been his favorite receiver here in the first half. Autry Beeman able to bump him out of bounds.
I think Norris Weiss and Riley Odoms had a little talk after last week's game against Atlanta. Odoms was shut out. So today, they've gotten back together.
It is a first down at the 42-yard line. 27 seconds left in this first half.
We'll see NFL 79 at halftime with all the scores, and I know there are a lot of people out there interested.
Steve Watson, number 81, has checked in at the wide receiver alignment. 3 wide receivers in there right now, and this one is picked off. It is picked off by Keith Simpson, who had just come on. Simpson, the second-year man out of Memphis State, intercepting Norris Weiss, and that will put an end to the Denver drive here in the second quarter with 14 seconds remaining in this first half.
Again, a horrible throw by Norris Weiss right into coverage. He floats the ball. He has 2 receivers deep. Excellent play by Simpson, the first-round draft choice. And I'll tell you, it wasn't so much that Simpson picked it off, but it was a horrible throw by Weiss, and you can't afford to do that in the 2-minute drill. Now Seattle has position to score again before the half. That man right there might be thinking he'll take a few snaps in the second half. Greg Morton.
Weiss intercepted for the second time this season, and Zorn to go to the air on first down. He's got Sherman Smith just out of his reach. Just a bit too far.
That was almost 6 right there. Sherman Smith wide open. Jim Zorn rushed the throw a bit. He had Smith wide open and couldn't hit it.
8 seconds left in this first half. Sherman Smith and the right side of that end zone was, what, inches away.
There wasn't anybody around him, that's for sure.
Here are the Seahawks, led to the line by center John Yarno, the 3-year pro out of Idaho. 2nd and 10 at the 24, and Zorn wants to talk it over. Seattle will talk it over with 8 seconds remaining in this first half. On first down, Zorn firing for Smith, and we'll take another look at it right here.
Jim Zorn caught the Broncos in a man-for-man defense on the backs. Sherman Smith eluded his linebacker, and look how wide open he is. Goodness. Bob Swenson, the closest defender for the Broncos, and about 1.5 inches less, and he'd have had 6.
Jim Zorn coming off his finest season as a pro, leading to a host of honors. A 4-year man out of California Poly in Pomona. Threw for more yards, completed more passes than any other quarterback in the AFC last season. This year, 53%. He's thrown for 4 touchdowns. He has been intercepted 6 times, those 6 intercepts over the first 2 games of the year. Today, he's 8 for 15 for 104 yards.
And some of those interceptions in the first 2 games were drop passes by his receivers. They were good throws, and they dropped them right into the hands of the defender.
Let's see what Zorn does right here with 8 seconds left. Moves Largent over to the right side. He has Ferguson wide left out of your picture. But he goes to David Sims. And a short pickup with a quick timeout call. Tom Jackson making the stop. Only 3 seconds elapsing on that play, so we have 5 seconds remaining, and Efren Herrera will come on to attempt the field goal.
And Jerry Rome had come down from the press box and had discussed it with Zorn and with head coach Jack Patera. Do we go for the touchdown, or do we just run it up the middle, make sure we don't fumble, and then get the 3 points from Efren Herrera? And 23-10 makes it awful tough for Denver. I wouldn't want to be in that locker room at halftime. Oh,
Herrera is 6 out of 8. He's 2 for 2 today, connecting from 28 and from 22 yards out just a moment ago. Zorn will hold. This will be a 39-yard attempt. He has hit from 34, from 46, and from 32. Going for his third this afternoon.
Was blocked, Marv.
So one of the Broncos got a piece of it, and Herrera way off to the right and low, and that is it. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Seattle Seahawks 20 and the Denver Broncos 10.
Some guys never learn. They're still taking it on the chin. Gotcha. Norelco offers the Norelco rotary razor. Not 1 or 2 blades, but 36 blades inside 3 adjustable floating heads and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave without a nick or cut. So say hello to the Norelco rotary razor and say goodbye to Gotcha.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge fans go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. Galvanized steel for critical area rust protection. More than Ford or Chevy. And with optional 3-speed automatic, the best V8 mileage ratings. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge fans. Engineered by Chrysler to go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
In this room, there are usually 9 or 10 infants, playing, laughing, learning what it feels like to be loved. We can't show you their faces because they are victims of child abuse and neglect. I'm Archery Beeman of the Seattle Seahawks, and this is the Seattle Day Nursery, an agency supported by United Way. Here, they give love back to little children whose parents have agreed to seek help. In many cases, they were often abused or neglected themselves as children. No one knows how many abused children there are, but here in Seattle, there's a small ray of hope, thanks to a lot of volunteers who want to share the meaning of love. Thanks to them, thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. We are at halftime, and Seattle leads Denver by the score of 20-10 in a surprise here at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Dan Dornick of Seattle with 2 touchdown runs, 2 field goals by Efren Herrera. He is 2 for 3 on the day, had one blocked just moments ago. Otis Armstrong scoring the Denver touchdown, and Jim Turner with a field goal, and that has been it. Right now, let's go to NFL 79 with Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle.
At the half, it's Seattle 20, Denver 10. It's been a very big day of action. The Steelers remain unbeaten, but the Chargers lose. We've had 2 overtime games. The Lions have broken into the win column, and we've seen a fabulous day by a rookie in Buffalo named Jerry Butler. I'm Brian Gumbel along with Mike Adamle. We'll get you all caught up right after these messages from your local station.
5 guys and the girl who drove them wild. Follow them through 3 decades of loving and lying in the world premiere of The Last Convertible. Perry King, he had it all except love. Deborah Raffin married to one man in love with another. Sharon Gless, ambition drove her all the way. First it was Rich Man, Poor Man, then 79 Park Avenue, and now The Last Convertible, Monday.
It's our Silver Spectacular, on now through Saturday, September 29th at the Bond. Save 50% off sterling 4-piece place settings in 38 of our most popular patterns, from International, Gorham, Toll, Lunt, Oneida, Wallace, Reed, and Barton. And with the purchase of 4, 8, or 12 4-piece place settings, you'll receive 1, 2, or all 3 of these beautiful gifts. Right now through Saturday, save 50% off sterling 4-piece place settings during our Silver Spectacular at the Bond.
Okay, let's check the Mariner News. Tough game last night. Let's check the football headlines. Last night, hello, Mr. Sports. Babe Ruth. It wasn't?
When it comes to sports, most radio stations give you a one-man show. But the KBI Sports page gives you a whole team who bring you the inside story on sports for 2 hours every weeknight. The KVI 570 Sports Page, weeknights at 6. Because we don't think one man can do it all.
Hello, Mr. Sports.
Better Than Checking gives you pay-by-phone at no extra charge. And only Washington Mutual has it.
Hello, Washington
So,
Mutual.
you can pay by phone or by pen. Either way, you earn interest on your spending money. It's another way we help families get more from their money. After all, family business is our business. Washington Mutual Savings Bank. Get Better Than Checking and get pay by phone at no extra charge.
This is King 5, Seattle.
At halftime of the Seattle-Denver game, we welcome you back to NFL 79 headquarters in New York. I'm Brian Gumbel along with Mike Adamle. We'll get you all caught up in the events of Sunday number 4 in this NFL season. Big game in Foxborough today. Match the unbeaten Chargers against the Patriots. Well, tonight both teams are 3-1, the result of a 27-21 victory on the part of the Patriots. But the Chargers had a chance to win this one. It was a great ball game between two teams, Mike, that averaged 30 points a game.
No question about it. Another factor in the game was wind. The Patriots had 3 possessions inside the Charger 42-yard line. That resulted in 20 quick first-half points. A big crowd, capacity crowd, turned out in Schaefer Stadium to watch these two teams battle, and Grogan had a good day, as he has had lately. Here he finds Russ Francis across the middle down to the 1-yard line, set up the Pats' first score. It was 20-0 until Danny Fouts got his Chargers rolling. When he is in trouble, he goes to number 83, John Jefferson. Here he finds him to make it 20-7. Grogan made it 27-14 with this pass to Francis. The Chargers came right back. It's 27-21. The Chargers have a chance to win it, but Fouts is intercepted by Steve Nelson. Last year, he was an all-pro. He seals the victory for the New England Patriots. In Rich Stadium in Buffalo, you know, a Chuck Knox team usually isn't known for its offensive performance. But look at this score, 46-31 over the Jets. They had an outstanding performance from a man named Jerry Butler, just a rookie out of Clemson University. Nevertheless, he caught 4 touchdown passes. This was number 1. And how about those stats? 10 receptions, 255 yards on the day. Here he got a little lucky. This second touchdown reception is deflected by the Jets. He picks it off, goes 75 yards for a score. Watch this one, though. Ferguson throws the ball short. Great concentration, and Butler turns it into a 74-yard scoring play. Bills way out in front right now. The last touchdown came when Ferguson rolled to his right. Butler is racing across the middle. There he is in the end zone alone. 9-yard touchdown run. You know, I think the people in Buffalo will start dialing up Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame number, because based on the performance today, a man should be enshrined.
He's a great rookie, and this from a guy who has taken some knocks early on. He's landed on his head a couple of times. He goes up for it, though. Thank you, Mike. Detroit against Atlanta. The Lions busted in the win column for the first time. They moved to 1-3. Falcons are at 500 after 4 weeks. 24-23, the final on that ball game. Jeff Comlow, 19 of 35, 289 yards and 2 scores. Monty Clark wins one without Gary Daniels.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, Monty Clark. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. And his quarterback, Jeff Comlow, is a rookie out of Delaware. He started the season as a 3rd stringer, thrown into the fray. He's really shown some promise, and today he put a win on the board for the Lions. First touchdown came on this 15-yard pass to Freddie Scott, and then Comlow showed that he could throw the ball fairly deep when he hits David Hill, the great Lion tight end, over the middle. Hill on the day, 3 for 61, just part of the festivities, part of the action that Comlow treated the Detroit fans to.
Okay, good, but I'm coming right back at you in a second. Houston today, a winner over Cincinnati. Bengals now 0-4, but today they really came close, played a very good first half. Unfortunately, the Oilers got their stuff untracked in the second half, won at 30-27 in overtime. Tony Frisch winning field goal. Earl Campbell, 34 carries, 161 yards. Oilers actually played a little sloppy early because, as you know, Dante Pastorini looked a little rusty.
Well, he missed the last game and a half, and I thought Bum Phillips was going to start Gifford Nielsen. He should have. Dante threw 2 interceptions early on and got Cincinnati way out in front. They were ahead 21-0 at one point, 14-0 right here when the throwing Samoan Jack Thompson hit Archie Griffin over the middle. He went down to the 1 to set up the touchdown. It's 24-zip, as a matter of fact, when Pastorini finally got himself together, 35 yards down the line in the end zone. Ken Burrows catches his touchdown pass. It's 27-27 in overtime, and watch this Minnesota Fats special. A masse through the uprights. Houston wins a big one. Cincinnati now 0-4 under Homer Rice.
I actually think Minnesota Fats has a better figure than Tony Frisch, but that's all right. Green Bay, Minnesota. Vikings a winner in overtime today, 27-21. The Vikes go to the 500 level. Pack now 1-3. They've lost 3 straight. Baltimore against Pittsburgh. The Steelers came close today, came close to being upset. but the Colts dropped to 0-4. The Steelers moved to 4-0. If you're wondering why it was so close, consider this. The Steelers played without 8 of their starters, and yet they still won. And, Michael, that's the mark of a true champion.
You know, it's funny. Usually the Steelers are a very, very well-conditioned team, but they've suffered a rash of untimely injuries to Franco Harris and Terry Bradshaw. Of course, the Colts are playing without Burt Jones. There he is on the sideline with troubled coach Teddy Marchibroda. Bradshaw, as ever, he was excellent again today. Here he finds John Stallworth in the end zone for the Steelers' first touchdown of the day. It made it 7-3. Greg Landry, Burt Jones' sub, found that he can throw the touchdown pass. Here he finds Roger Carr. Roger turns it into a touchdown, 10-7 in favor of Baltimore. The finishing touches, however, came on this tight end screen to number 89, another Clemson flash. Benny Cunningham, he scampers 26 yards into the end zone. Pittsburgh wins at 17-13. Steelers now 4-0.
Okay, Michael, the Redskins moved to 3-1, the Cardinals to 1-3. Final there, 17-7. Hart threw for 306 yards, but no touchdowns. Oakland against Kansas City, changing of the guard here. It used to be the Raiders walked all over them. No longer. The young Chiefs took it to the Raiders, 35-7 final. Stabler sacked 6 times. And, Michael, you said at the beginning of the year, Chiefs are a bunch of up-and-comers.
You bet. They have a very good defensive team. No starters under 5 years in experience, and they proved it today, wiping out the Oakland Raiders before a capacity crowd at Arrowhead Stadium. We talked about Clemson stars Butler and Cunningham. Watch number 4, quarterback Steve Fuller. Here he hits Steve Gaunty in the end zone to put the Chiefs on top early, 7-zip. And look at this man. He's probably the best punt returner in the league today. J.T. Smith out of North Texas State. Here he takes this Gray guy punt 87 yards for a touchdown. You will recall that last week he returned another touchdown against the Oilers. Stabler, on the other hand, had problems. Here he is sacked by Whitney Paul, even though Van Egan recovers his own fumble, or Stabler's fumble. Stabler had problems in the air, too. He was intercepted by number 26, the Chiefs' fine safety, all-pro Gary Barbaro. Barbaro, not great speed, but he turns this interception into a 72-yard punt return. Just part of the reasons why the Chiefs absolutely dominated the Raiders today. That final 35-7.
Okay, Mike, all those scores we've given you are finals. Let's bring you the partials now. Philadelphia out in front of the Giants, 14-6. That ball game at the half, Harold Carmichael has caught in 100 straight now. Seattle against Denver, as you're watching, Seattle out in front, 20-10. That ball game, of course, at the half. Chicago against Miami, the Dolphins still undefeated. They're out in front 10-6. Delvin Williams has the only touchdown. Tampa Bay continuing undefeated. They're out in front of the Rams 21-6. That game at the half. San Francisco ahead of the Saints by a point. That went 2 at the half. Let's go back to Denver and join Marv Albert and Mike Hefner.
This 1979 National Football League game is brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Kmart Automotive Service Centers, where quality car products are Kmart priced. And by Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This Bud's for everybody who puts in a hard day's work.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
RCA wants you to see the right color. The color of Jupiter, captured by Voyager 1. Does your television automatically show you all the subtle, intense, and mysterious shades of a world never seen in this world before? If not, see Color Track 1980 by RCA. Color Track 1980. With 8 automatic color systems designed to lock even subtle shades of color on track. RCA is making television better and better.
A storm-damaged house, and a lady and her plants have a problem.
Everything will be all right. I hate lying to him, but I haven't got the money to fix this. And you know how long the insurance could take.
Not with Allstate. Allstate has more professional claims